Question for Jeff and Peter. You know, silver's that metal that can play two roles, right? Gold is a monetary metal, copper is an industrial metal, silver plays on both teams. Do either of those strike you as more bullish right now? And which would you expect to be the driver of price performance over the next 10 years? There's a lot of promises being made on the heels of renewable energy, which is the industrial use case, and just, you know, growth really in general, economic growth requires massive amounts of silver. You know, but as Lynette pointed out, we're popping the debt bubble, which is the monetary use case. Do either one of those strike you with more bullishness than the other? And maybe Jeff, I'll go to you, and then Peter, I'll come back to you.
Well, industrial use is clearly growing. I think everyone in the room knows that. And that's going to continue. And that's partly due to political promises and industrial demand. If you look at the percent of silver that's going to industrial use, it's rising steadily every year, and that's with supply going up. So a greater percentage of a bigger pot of supply of silver is going to industrial uses every year. But that's a long-term trend. That demand picture is going to be there. It doesn't typically drive the price, at least historically. That's going to continue to grow. What's really going to ignite the price is going to be some type of monetary event, some type of fear like we had with COVID. And the COVID bounce, remember we all had the COVID crash, then we had the COVID bounce. In the bounce, gold rose 40%, silver rose 140%. So are those that are saying, well, you know, silver is really an industrial metal now. Its use is growing, that's true, but that's like a giant ship, a giant barge in a port trying to negotiate a 3-point turnaround. That's going to take a long time. That takes time to do that. Whereas the silver price in the meantime, responding to monetary concerns or some other issue like that, is like a speedboat whipping around the waves around that barge. So it's still going to happen, in my opinion. I still think it has monetary use, and investors flee to it during monetary crisis times. That's still going to happen. I expect that to happen again. And the next one, you know, who knows? That could be the mother of all bull markets. We'll see. So.
Real quick break here, guys. If you are a mining investor, you are without question familiar with the Golden Triangle region in British Columbia. This is one of the most prolific mining regions in the world due to its vast deposits of gold, silver, and copper. Now, for the last 4 years, Dolly Varden Silver has been busy expanding their high-grade silver deposit in the Triangle, and they are backed by some of the smartest investors in the silver business, including the legendary Eric Sprott, Hecla Mining, US Global Investors, Fidelity, Delbrook Capital, Sprott Resource Corp, and more. If you are curious why the smartest money in the silver business is cozying up to Dolly Varden Silver, then hit the link beneath this video.
Okay, Peter, I want to come to you with the same question. By the way, if anybody in the audience has questions, tweet them at me and I'll see them. It's @JMartinBC. Submit your questions. I'll see them on my screen. If anybody has any, you can submit them that way. Peter, same question for you though.
Yeah, so, you know, Jeff touched on a lot of the points that I would bring forward as well. The industrial demand is rising. It was, a few years ago, was 50%. Now it's about 60% already of demand. Solar is a huge part of that. Last year, solar was 20% of all silver being used. Now, solar is really the 800-pound gorilla. You have to pay attention to what's happening with solar, because even if solar production of solar panels did not grow or flat for the next several years, the technology is changing. And already this year, new manufacturing capacity for the newer technology, one called TOPCon, takes 50% more silver per panel. So again, if solar panel production did not grow, and it is, you're still going to need more silver for the solar industry. And remember, virtually none of the silver that goes to solar panels gets recycled. So far, we haven't found a way to do that. So a lot of that's consumed. We're not going to ever see it again. A lot of the industrial uses simply disappear. I wish I could take credit for it, but there's a guy by the name Eric Strand who runs a couple of funds out of Sweden, AUAG funds, and he boiled it down to two basic themes. He said silver has two megatrends that are underpinning it. One is currency debasement, so that's this whole inflation and money printing. So silver is going to do well because of that. And silver has the green transition as the other mega trend. And I want to say one other thing, that there's a serious effort now by silver mining companies. You have a working group that has been put together. They are actually drafting a letter that's going to go to Natural Resources Canada to make the case for silver to be considered a critical metal. They've already submitted their research. They're trying to get a number of silver CEOs to sign this letter. And if any silver CEOs want to sign that letter, reach out to me and I'll do what I can to put you in touch with them. But silver is a critical metal, and it's becoming more so, and that's going to absolutely underpin it. Now, I believe the way I see it, much like Jeff, is that the industrial demand is what is going to help provide a rising floor under the silver price, but a steady rising floor. And then it's the investment demand that, when it kicks in, is what causes these huge rallies and spikes. And that's why you want to be in silver. Yes, it's been lagging. Have patience. It will absolutely pay off. It's done it multiple times in the past. And you've got to be in the game to benefit.